What if Batman loved twinks, but in a horny way? Howdy ho, and welcome back to Whole Chat, a podcast about gay comics, because why not? I'm Chuck, your host, and with me today is Keelz, the hot girl that lives in my house.
Ooh, fancy nickname.
Yeah.
Like that.
So, today we're doing something significantly easier than our first episode, because no one gets murdered or stalked.
Yeah, isn't that, great how there's probably thousands of stories we could have started off with our first episode, but we chose that one.
It's a legend. It's the it girl of boy love.
Is it this era's gravitation?
Ooh. Oh, don't ask me terrible questions like that.
God, gravitation was a thing, wasn't it?
You haven't seen the anime. The anime's solid.
The anime I've heard is charming, but I was a dumb, foolish child and picked up a book that was not wrapped in plastic and scarred myself for life.
The before times when you could see whole at Barnes & Noble without parental parental supervision, yeah.
Spoilers, gravitation in the manga has a rape scene.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate. So spoilers.
Fast.
If you didn't know that, in the manga, there's rape. And it's just like, it was very upsetting to me, a middle schooler.
It was a different time for boy love. We were very much past that in a lot of ways, where rape was thrown around as just like a cool thing to do half the time. So it's much better than it used to be. If you really want to try gravitation, I do recommend watching the anime. Anime's banger. And they also made a whole soundtrack for the fictional bands they have in there. It's really good, so I would recommend it. But today, we are going to be flicking the switch and chatting about on or off.
Flicking the switch. Sorry, this feels like a clit joke. Flick my switch.
God, dude. Okay, On or Off is a 2019 boy love comic and the inaugural Korean work by A1. She has a history of publishing doujinshi and other boy love comics in Japan under the pseudonym Kirino Mahito.
Quick.
Yeah.
So she's called A1, but also Kirino?
Yeah, so for a lot of artists in this space, if they're doing works in Korean, in Japanese, and blah, 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 they will have a pseudonym that kind of matches whatever they're doing. So there are several manga artists and authors that actually publish things in Japanese, but they have a pseudonym.
Okay.
Similarly, people who make doujinshi will have a pseudonym that is different from their actual published work name, which is also usually a pseudonym. So they'll have, 2 layers of pseudonyms depending on, what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to try and make an A1 sauce joke in there, but this was actually really interesting to learn.
You're raised in the woods. Okay, so the story is about our main character, the adorable An Yi-young, and the incredibly hunky and massive male lead, Kang Dae-hyung. An Yi-young is a college student turned young professional and taking his first steps into the adult world. And Kang Dae-hyung is a grown fucking man and should absolutely pay my bills.
Kang,
yeah.
Kang.
Dae-hyung, yeah.
Dae-hyung?
Dae-hyung, yeah.
Kong, damn, he's hung.
It's so fucking stupid, but it's not wrong at all. It's legitimately so true.
That was probably bad of me since I don't know what the name means, but holy shit, it kind of does sound like it's... Just looking at the words on your screen, I feel like I'm getting a porn joke.
I'm not at all horny about this man, but I'm very horny to own a house, and he has funds to do it. And I just want his funds.
Right. We would all fuck the sad Batman for money.
Yeah.
Not Spider-Man because he's poor, but we love you, Spider-Man. But Batman got money, Iron Man got money. Fuck, Superman probably got money.
Oh, he likes to work and, likes to work at the freaking Daily Plan. I don't think he's got money. Journalism doesn't pay.
I don't know, but isn't it a New York knockoff, though?
No. Journalists don't get paid.
Eh.
They just suffer. So, story kicks off right in the thick of things. A sex scene between Yi-young and Dae-hyung that doesn't seem particularly romantic or passionate, and that's straight up because it's not. Their first time is a massive misunderstanding that they both eventually regret.
How do you have a misunderstanding in sex? Like, is there some drinking? Is there like, oh, you're not the hole I wanted?
There is drinking, but it's also way more complicated than that. This is going to be a journey on how we get here.
All right.
It's absolutely like the whole thing starts out with like the record scratch. I bet you're wondering how I got here kind of opening, which is perfect considering
from whose point of view?
From Yi Young's point of view,
which is
our protag. He's got light hair, very kind of like idol adjacent looking within the universe of the comics, stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
he's the twink. The other guy's the himbo.
You can't call him a himbo because he's not stupid.
Oh, wow. Buff.
Just a massive, massive man.
What do you call the big ones with a brain?
Daddy. Sorry.
Sir.
Sir. Daddy Warbucks or Sir. Yeah.
Or Zaddy.
But yeah, so the whole beginning of the comic is from Yi Young's point of view. About halfway through the comic, it switches to Dae-hyung's. And like from this point on, we're going to call Dae-hyung Director Kang because that's just way easier for me to say. And that's what he's referred to the rest of the time. But when we do the switch over to Director Kang's point of view, then we kind of like get a little bit of backfill as what he was thinking as things were going on and blah, blah, blah. But at the initial point, we're following Yi Young for the most part. So, Yi Young is a 22-year-old college student that has very recently become the CEO of a company that he started with his best friend, Nam Mina, and is staffed by other students from their college.
Can you say her name again?
Nam Mina.
Nam Mina, okay.
Yeah, we'll call her Mina most of the time.
No, that's fine. I just like... It was very fast, and I kind of phased out because I was thinking about that hog. I like dick.
No, you and everyone else. So, Nam Mina is a brilliant computer engineer that was scouted for a job before she even graduated from college. She's the cream of the crop and likely has a higher IQ than every other person in this comic. But she has the emotional intelligence of a box of rocks. The rest of their crew are deeply neurodivergent or awkward or anxious, but incredibly good in their respective fields. Which leaves Yi Young, Mr. Sunshine personified, to helm their team. He's got a good attitude, and he knows how to people, so he's instantly given the role as CEO due to his sheer ability to converse with strangers. He's also good at handling a variety of tasks and is committed to finishing jobs, so he's not just the social one, but that is kind of what they use him for a lot.
So because he, he's not an introvert, he can do it.
Yeah, Mina's not an introvert either, but you don't want to...
She's blunt as a rock.
Dude, girl...
We all know someone like that, and when I'm done with my people, when my spoons are gone, I'm pretty much just get the fuck out.
She says some truly insane shit, and she's not wrong, but you don't say it that way. So she'll converse with people, but she really shouldn't be doing that. Yi Young actually knows how to navigate and be polite to people, and feels upset if he upsets someone's feelings or whatever. But
we all need the Riz guy. I get it.
Yeah, Yi Young, Mina, and their colleagues are attempting to make and pitch a mobile game to an established company as a form of marketing. So at the beginning of the comic, the alpha version of the game is complete, their company of choice is decided, and all that's left is for Yi Young to pitch to a group of old men who barely know how to text and need help downloading a PDF, which is a heavy task for anyone, but especially an undergrad with no experience. This is where we actually meet Kang Dae-hyung, Director Kang.
So is Kang part of the old men he has to convince?
No, Kang Dae-hyung is 38 years old. These old men are definitely in
70.
their 50s, 60s, 70s, possibly 80 because it's Korea and they live forever and are super healthy. So, Director Kang is a recovered baby girl and recent hire to SJ, which is the company that he's currently working for.
Wait, are we going to elaborate on the recovered baby girl part?
Yeah, it's...
Okay, is that coming?
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, it sounds important. Recovered baby girl.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Sounds dangerous, doesn't it?
He-Man level or Zenigata level?
Oh, I think more He-Man level.
More He-Man?
Yeah. Zenigata's still a baby girl. He hasn't graduated.
Oh, God, no.
No, okay. But so he's been hired at SJ, this company that I think their big thing was they started selling tofu back in the day, and so they're still a tofu company, kind of, and food adjacent, but they obviously do other stuff. It's not super important what else they do. We don't get that into it. Just know they did tofu. The game features tofu, whatever. Director King is primarily tasked with flushing out problems and realigning the company's values and bank account. Director King, he's considered a fixer within the industry and has spent the last several years joining struggling companies and leaving once they were successful again.
Is this a real job?
Yeah.
Like someone swoops in and like saves your bacon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So sometimes when you so anytime you hear about a CEO getting added on to a company that's been like going kind of shaky, they are normally hiring a fixer CEO, somebody who can like jump in and do it. Case in point, not that anybody cares, the current CEO of Disney used to be the CEO of Disney before, like several years ago. Then he retired from being CEO of Disney because he's like, it's not my time anymore. We need fresh blood in here. They hired a new guy. New guy is particularly responsible for canceling a lot of your favorite animated and live action shows and for changing Fast Pass at the park and making a lot of stupid decisions. He's the reason why we have a Disney streamer that just has been hemorrhaging money for years.
Is this slander? Can we talk about this?
Oh, no, it's true. Oh, what is he going to do? Fucking find me and say I didn't hemorrhage money?
Nah,
Fuck him.
Just sue us. Like, we're poor little ants to him. He'll just
No,
be like, give me your money.
Also, too, like, Disney hasn't, like, hidden this information or whatever either, and the dude doesn't work there anymore. He essentially got fired, and so they rehired the dude from before him. And so that dude's now back at the helm of Disney, and he's trying to, like, right the ship.
So he's trying to fix it.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
So, like, he took a pay cut and isn't getting paid as much as he used to, because normally they would pay a CEO more to, like, do it or whatever. But yeah, so, like, CEOs do it a lot, where they kind of come in and fix things, but they do hire other people sometimes to come in and fix things, and, like, so you'll basically be doing contract work, but, like, for an executive.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Also, like, Disney don't sue us, even if we're just telling the truth.
I literally couldn't give less of a shit.
I want to live. I want to live. I just want to live.
They can't do shit to me. So, once the companies are successful, then he's done. So he's been doing this for a while, and like 2 to 5 year stints, he'll stay with somebody and then leave and whatever. So he actually has a whole other life in another country where he is fully in charge, well-liked, and the life of the party. But in Korea, he comes off as a no-nonsense, extremely direct, and rule-abiding savior type. I unironically call him Batman because of the duality. And like, because like, yes, he has this strong sense of justice, sure, and the sheer size of him kind of factors into the Batman thing. And I know that they both, I know in my heart that they both got a big dick. Like, despite the
bad version of
yes,
the dick that
despite
was
the
drawn.
recent Batman slander, Homeboy's got a big dick. It's
Not
true.
recent. That happened like a year ago, I think, where he was drawn with a
that's
a big
recent
penis.
within the scheme of DC Comics.
Yeah.
Last year is recent.
God, he had the chance to give someone a hog who earned a hog.
He has.
And you give him a micro penis.
For
What's
real.
wrong with you?
For real. But yeah, both got big slongs, but they're also both rich and successful, and legitimately anyone would see them as an ideal partner. This is brought up so fucking often in the comic, and it's true. Like, Director King can get it. So, Director King is, as I said before, incredibly straightforward. So, if he has something to say, he says it with his whole massive chest. He's afraid of absolutely no one, and regularly delivers the savage professional beatdowns that you wish your boss would be subjected to. Despite that, he really can't beat the baby girl allegations, because he also has way lower self-esteem than you'd expect, and he loves cougars.
Alright, like, I'm still, like, over here going, how does this lead to sex misunderstanding?
Yeah, that's where everybody is at the beginning of the comic. You're having the lived experience of me reading this the first time.
Okay, well, I'm still over there, but I guess I'll learn how he's a baby girl, because that is part of my interest.
Well, we're moving on to something else right now. But
what?
yeah.
We're not talking about the baby girl stuff
That's
now?
coming too. This comes in chunks, my dude. Have you read a story?
That is so insulting. I'm just impatient. Okay.
You can't skim ahead on this one. You actually have to listen to me.
How do I flip you to the end? How do I get the spoilers out of you?
That's the shitty part. You can't. Yi Young, having been sent alone to pitch his company's mobile game, is totally prepared to deliver an excellent presentation and equally unprepared to meet Director King. Like, he was very much blindsided by the mere sight of him, which is totally fair.
Is it because he's so big and imposing, or is it because he's hot?
Like, he's also considered hot in universe as well. He's got that very kind of clean-cut style, like, square jaw kind of thing.
Right.
He's daddy
But
material.
is it the hot, or is it, like, because he's big CEO?
It's the hot.
Okay, so...
Yeah, no, a big CEO would have been like, whatever, it's the hot. Because, like, he's in a room full of, like, middle-aged or older guys, and then he's 38. So he stands out regardless, but then he's also, like, super hot.
Okay.
But, because, like, Director King is a brick shit house. And when he leaves the room, you are definitely wetter than when he came in.
Ew. I mean, yeah, that's probably Batman for people, too,
Yeah.
but ew.
But, like, Yi Young kicks off the presentation okay until a glitch leads to a restart, which unearths the truest villain of our age. Windows Update. So needless to say, he beefs it, presentation is canceled, and he has 100% let his company and his friends down.
Wait, because a Windows Update messed up his interview?
Yeah, well, so he's doing a presentation. Windows Update comes on. Again, these are men
who don't know how to do a PDF.
Oh, yeah,
So they blame him for the Windows.
Exactly.
That sucks.
So they rush it forward. And, like, to be fair, like, they're also taking pitches from, like, graduated adults. So, like, adults who have degrees and stuff like that. And so here he is, and he's, like, a sophomore or junior. He's, like, right in the middle of college. So he's not done. And so you just see this, like, fresh-faced, like, idle-looking young kid come in, be like, I've got a presentation for you.
Oh, wait. And he's gonna get with Mr. 38?
Yeah.
Girl, that's not good for you.
It's fine. I'll explain. Yi Young, he's upset, feeling incredibly defeated, and extra embarrassed because he whiffed it in front of the hottest man he's ever seen. So he sulks for a bit.
Yeah. I had a seizure in front of my hot boss. Do you remember that? Okay, so I have epilepsy. So I had a seizure in front of my hot boss at Keelz. It was his second day. Because, like, my epilepsy was normally under control at the time, but we were very stressed. It was holiday season, and I had a seizure in front of this man. And I remember telling you about it because I came home crying about it. Because, like, nothing was going to happen between me and my boss, but he was really hot, and it was super embarrassing.
I can't relate.
Well, yeah. Just saying, it's embarrassing as fuck. Like, fucking up in front of someone. Even if you didn't, like, mine, like this person, was not a fuck up. I had a medical incident. And this guy got fucked by Windows Update, so you know.
Yeah.
It's just so embarrassing to, like, not be your best in front of a hot person. It's rough. I don't know how to explain it to you.
I mean, I think I get it, but I don't feel it. I'm sympathetic, I'm not empathetic.
That's sexy of you.
But yeah, so Yi Young sulks for a bit, and then he gets this ingenious idea to print out the presentation and leave it for Director King. All while, like, charming several employees at SJ. He comes across multiple people, and they're just like, who is this young man? He's like a breath of fresh air. In this, like, moldy, dank office, I suddenly feel the wind caress against my cheek.
Was he drinking because he was sulking?
No. He's still at the company, yeah. He hasn't gone anywhere yet.
Okay, so I thought maybe he went off to a bar to sulk, and, like, this is how we get him in.
You're trying to guess.
I want to know how they get into bed.
You can just chill.
I have no patience.
Just relax.
Teleported in my mind.
Nope. So he's successful in getting, like, everything printed out, primarily due to Director King's pregnant secretary, Secretary Lim. We see her not again, but she does get mentioned. But Secretary Lim infers to him that she can't control what Yi Young does because, you know, she's busy and pregnant and doesn't have eyes in the back of her head, and she's leaving for maternity leave tomorrow. So if he slips into Director King's office and slides a little presentation in there, what's she going to do about it? So, great plan. Seems like a win, right?
Not bad.
But I want to remind you and everyone else that Yi Young is 22 and very honest and has only the best intentions.
No.
But he does absolutely snoop into Director King's calendar and comes up with a slightly less ingenious plan to apologize for his poor performance and convince him to give his team another chance.
This is a very big level of embarrassing. This is a young person level of embarrassing.
Yeah, like, you get why he does it? Because I feel crazy if I can't apologize to somebody, if I accidentally did something to him. Like, that sits with me for weeks. So I can only imagine, like, you feel like you disrespected somebody by not coming prepared and, like, the whole thing.
No, you don't apologize for shit unless you have control of it. If you shit on someone's desk, you apologize. You could have gone to a bathroom.
But only if it's on purpose. If it was an accident, what are you going to do about it?
I don't know how you could accidentally shit on someone's desk, but I'm just saying, like, accidental mishaps we can't apologize for. Let that shit go.
Yeah.
But intentional stuff, yeah, like, I get it.
Yeah.
But he's got like little girl energy, little I'm new to the world and oh my god, I'm scared energy, you know? Don't apologize for messing up your speech. It's okay. It's not, but come on.
Well, I will tell you that these actions of his are 80% fueled by his respect for his team. The other 20% is horny.
Oh my god.
22 years old, baby. Let's fucking go.
So this is Batman getting with a frat girl. That's what's happening. Like with not necessarily a frat girl, but a young college girl who's away from the parents. And it's like, yes, I want to, like, experience things. And then beefs it.
Not quite.
Like a sitcom, like Felicity.
Nah, Yi Young's got his shit better together than that sort of person. He's not, like, all over the place most of the time.
I'm unconvinced so far based off what I've heard. Convince me.
Okay. Miss Kang Dae-hyung, meanwhile, is in the middle of getting broken up with by a hot, older, single mom.
Why'd you call him Miss?
Because he's about to get a little baby girl.
Oh, this is the baby girl
This is where we start getting that little hint of baby girl. So, hot, older, single mom breaking up with him. And this woman, you get it. She does feel hot. She just exudes having her shit together, and she's picking her daughter over him, so, like, she's great.
How old is she?
She's definitely at least in her 40s, but it kind of hints she's closer to 50s, because she's got an 18-year-old. And I don't think and a lot of folks in Korea don't have children until a little bit later than we do in America. You still see people having kids young, but it's been more of a trend.
Like in your 30s?
Like late 20s, early 30s, yeah. Because you finish a lot of schooling and, like, get your career started and stuff like that. But yeah, so she's somewhere between 40s and 50s. You meet her for just a few panels, but she's seriously awesome already. But as she tries to let him down gently, she asks him, 1, to not date someone older and uglier than her, and 2, to date someone in their 20s next time. When I tell you that Director Kang acted like a professional baby about this, like, oh my god, pleading with an older woman using professional speech is still just whining.
I want an example of pleading with professional speech.
Like, he's definitely pulling well, I understand that your daughter is going through a very important time. Having been to high school myself, I understand how difficult it can be, but is it really have to be, like, it's like you're giving a presentation, you're trying to pitch to somebody, don't break up with me, and I'm like, cool, you're still being a little bitch.
I'm adding a little bit of toxicity to his baby girl energy.
That's part of being a baby girl sometimes.
That honestly is true. Like, baby girls can be toxic, but, like,
exactly.
I don't need them to be whiny.
But yeah, he's not pleased at all by the suggestion of dating anyone under 38 years. Otherwise, they end their night on good terms. He's not pleased at the suggestion of dating anybody 38 years or younger, but otherwise they end their night on good terms, leaving him alone with a glass of liquor and some sad boy feels. This is a man who says he just happens to like, completely on accident, only like older successful women. He's a baby girl ass bitch.
I'm judging very hard. I'm just very quiet.
He's brooding over a cocktail and nursing a broken heart when Yi Young enters. Let's be clear that this is not the sort of place that a young man from a middle-class family would go to. It's got a very elite, moneyed feel to it, so he sticks out immediately with his open demeanor and dressed in baby's first suit. This is where things actually get for real complicated. So, Yi Young sits next to him at the bar and attempts to apologize.
Oh, this was bad. They're both coming in with wrong energies. Oh, no.
Yeah, so
I can guess what happens.
So Yi Young attempts to both apologize for his poor performance earlier that day and to try to persuade Director Kang to take a look at his company's proposal. He comes off as very brazen, especially considering that he makes it obvious he snooped and he keeps switching between polite speech and casual college kid banter.
Oh my god.
He calls the director bro at one point.
Oh my god.
So Director Kang...
Is he drunk a little? Did he drink anything?
So Yi Young couldn't even afford a drink. He had to get a Sprite. It was too expensive for him to get an alcoholic beverage.
I wish he
so
was
ordered
drunk.
a Sprite.
He's fucking up sober.
Yes, because he has zero experience doing this. This is what people do when they're in their like late 20s.
No, I get it. Yeah. Like I've seen this. This is total college fucking up vibes. God.
Yeah, so Director Kang, seeing what he considers like this brazenness on full display, begins to formulate a very negative opinion of Yi Young. Specifically, that he's shameless, sloppy, and obviously here to bribe him, though he has very little to bribe him with.
Oh, so he's like, oh, you're here to get sex.
Yeah, so he thinks, you're here, you're young, you are just trying to bribe me, you're going to try and bribe me with your body. He has a history of being this fixer, right? Mm-hmm. People have tried to do this to him before.
Okay. And then he was just told, go get a young twink, and one has presented itself.
Well, so, Twink, let's be clear, too. He has only dated women, and she said just date someone younger. She didn't specify a gender, but as far as everyone knows at this point, he's only had sex with women. He's only dated women.
What are you gonna try now? I'll shut up. I'm just.
So, I do want to emphasize at this point that Director Kang is trying to play 4D chess with a park pigeon. Which is to say, they're not playing the same damn game. And this is a recurring theme in here, is that they are playing different games. It's not even like chess and checkers.
It's like chess and shoots and ladders.
Yeah, like it's on the same board, but got different pieces going on, and somebody's rolling dice. It's
Yahtzee.
Yes, absolutely. So, rather than be normal about the situation and just tell Yi Young, like, hey, dude, absolutely not, I don't stand for bribes, get the fuck out of here, decides to play gay chicken.
I love it. This man's immature.
So he challenges Yi Young by putting sex on the table, essentially saying he's not usually into dudes, but a pretty face is a pretty face.
Was Yi Young pretty?
Yeah, he's like idol. Pretty.
Right, you keep saying that. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But so, precious Yi Young doesn't fold, however, and he just very casually says he can sleep with guys too. And that's how we wind up back at the beginning of episode 1. The pre-fuck apocalypse. And, like, trust me, when I say this decision-making leading up to
Did
fuck
Yi
Mageddon...
Young not think he was gay?
Like, Director Kang?
Himself.
No, Yi Young is certifiably gay.
Okay, but he's still surprised he's fucking a man?
No, he's just trying to match Director Kang's energy. So Director Kang's coming out...
like, I can be straight and fuck a man, but he's definitely into the idea.
Director Kang is presenting like, oh, well, your face is pretty enough, so I guess we can totally bang. And Yi Young's like, well, I don't have a problem sleeping with men.
Okay, yeah, gay chicken rules,
gay chicken, yeah.
Right.
So that's how we get back to pre-fuck apocalypse, and then all the decision making leading up to fuck Mageddon. It's so unreasonable because I get where both of them are coming from for the most part. But it's also really dumb.
It's so dumb. This is real stupid.
Because, like...
I'm entertained, but it's real dumb.
For Director Kang, it makes sense. We don't fully put Yi Young's together for a little while longer after this point. But Yi Young also, since he's considered hot, he has had people try to get, like, sex from him or, like, you know, interactions or, you know, affection from him in exchange for stuff. So he's definitely been propositioned, like, oh, I'll give you money, blah, 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 kind of thing. And so he also just thinks like, well, this is what I have to do to make sure that my business succeeds for my friends, and I'll do it. And I'm like, wait, no, just say no. Like, everyone in here should just say no.
I know this is supposed to be all lighthearted and stuff, but like, I don't know, it just feels kind of dark. It's like, ooh, here's a dark look at the industry that we think is actually happening in real life, you know?
Yeah. And like,
because we think this shit happens in real life.
And I'm it does to somebody. Like,
it's got to. I mean, like, all the shit coming out of Hollywood lately.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah, for sure. In any case, they do have sex. It's not nice, but everybody gets off. Director Kang...
What do you mean? Is he mean in sex?
He's not mean. If anything...
He's just an experience because it's a man?
Well, no, he actually... Yi Young actually is surprised that Homeboy knows what he's doing.
Oh, probably because, like, you know, you can have anal as a woman.
Yes, but so he's not nice in the fact that, like, normally he is like the best lover these women have ever met kind of thing. And with Yi Young, he's just like, okay, take your clothes off. Okay, I'm gonna prepare you. Okay, we're gonna have sex.
Okay.
So it's very cold.
Ugh, it's a very bad one night stand.
Yeah, like I'm sure people have had this type of one night stand before, where it's just like, get it, got it, good, we're done.
Great, I pumped you 3 times. Leave.
Right, but in this case, at least like
change on the dresser.
A little bit, like he does give Yi Young like cat hair afterwards too.
And this is definitely.
And I'm like, oh, that's the worst time to do that. But yeah, so they do have sex. It's not comfortable, but like Yi Young actually does like orgasm, and so does Director Kang. And this is important for later. I promise you, even though I'm saying
the orgasms matter.
The orgasm is important in this case. I'll get to it. But afterwards, after they're finished, Yi Young asks for confirmation that his presentation will be reconsidered, and he is unfortunately coldly told that there was never a guarantee, and he should have gotten that sort of shit in writing the next time he wants to hoe around. And then Director King leaves.
Batman, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is fucking rude. That's fucking rude. Yeah, that's rude. I mean, like, if this was a movie or a fantasy novel even, yeah. Like, this is a total, like, I'm an older man fucking a young person. This is why you shouldn't fuck the older person, young children out there. I don't care how zaddy they are. Sometimes older people are bad for you. Okay, continue.
So, I know where we are. I understand. They are going to be a couple. It's just, this is a rough start. It's a rough start. Truthfully, though.
You can come back from this. Like,
yeah.
There's been no... It's bad, but it's not like...
This is comebackable.
There's been worse comics.
This is comebackable, because I've definitely read stories where the meet cute is significantly worse.
Yeah.
Way worse than this.
Yeah. Like, there's definitely stories out there where you're like, oh my god, this guy did what? And you dated him? You said yes later? So. Yeah, so, but after this, both men are frustrated, upset, and angry after this encounter. Like, Director King goes on, like, a little, like, rant about it internally, and Yi Young, obviously, is, like, super disappointed. He's like, well, what did I do that for? I thought I was getting blah, 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 and whatever. But he has to fess up to his team that he failed them, which only adds insult to injury about the night that he just had. But, like, the team's actually surprisingly okay about it. Director King, in all of his anger, does actually come across the presentation that Yi Young had given him, and he does flip through it. Was that at the office still? Yeah, he goes to the office. Okay. Yeah. The next day he goes to the office, looks through the presentation, but he's looking at it just because he's curious to see how bad it is, or if it's even worth the bribe. Because in his brain, he's like, if this dude's bribing me, it's gotta suck, and there's no way it's actually good, right? Mm-hmm. Like who like. This person's obviously a seedy person. They're gonna give me like a seedy He's just a prick, though. Like he's definitely got a bit of ego that I don't like. Yeah. But you know what? You about to be learned. I can tell.
Yeah.
You're gonna like that presentation.
And so, exactly. Surprisingly, it's actually as good as Yi Young promised. So, despite all the fucky business from the day before, Yi Young, Mina, and their colleagues are chosen for the project. So, like, they actually get told last minute, sorry about whatever, come on down, we've chosen y'all.
Okay, but did Kang have, like, an emotional, oh shit, this is, like, a really good presentation?
Yeah.
Did he start feeling bad right away?
So, what I love about this, actually, is he looks at it and then is like, this is the best thing that we've been submitted, period. By, like, out of experienced teams and inexperienced teams, it's the best thing they've seen. And so he calls a emergency meeting with the same execs from before, and they're like, oh, we've already seen this presentation, and didn't it fuck up yesterday? Being old coots about it. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of stares at them, so they'll shut up. Like, Homeboy will just look at them, and they'll shut the fuck up.
Batman energy.
Exactly. So he looks at them, they shut the fuck up, he goes to the presentation, and since Yi Young had printed out all of his, like, speech as well. And so Director Kang presents it, and it's cute as hell. It's like a little tofu game. It's very adorable. And so he gets all the execs on board to be like, well, this seems fun. And like, my grandkid would like something like this. And you think the youth will like this? So they all get engaged with it too. And as soon as he's said and done, he's like, I'm actually proud of these kids. He's had this moment of being like, I'm proud of these kids. We have to tell them immediately that we're accepting it. So Yi Young barely even gets to finish saying that they didn't get the job. And then
they get a call.
They get the job. They immediately get the call.
Well, at least he had like an honest response to it. Because I do get that he's like, this guy wanted to have sex with me. I'm going to look at his paperwork and piss on it. Like, I get it. I just, like, everyone made so many mistakes here that I'm just like, ugh.
They really shit the bed at the beginning. But right around now where they finally get accepted, this is where the story, like, actually kicks off. And it's a great starting point for better understanding the characters. Because Director Kang chooses their project despite the apparent bribery. Because they're actually the best choice, and this is what the company needs.
But does he still think he was bribed?
At this point, he's not certain.
Okay, so he's starting to be like, ooh, was that a bribery?
Yeah, he's starting to figure it out.
Okay.
It's stated clearly in the comic that he despises bribes because Mina had mentioned that during her research that he's not into bribes. Like, that's an absolute thing that he won't, he won't take that if anything. But she never told Yi Young that because she thought, well, based on my calculations, he can't fail the presentation. So she never mentioned to him.
Y'all put too much hope in this little Yi Young guy. Y'all are... I know y'all can't talk to people, but you need to learn.
I mean, he actually is good at doing the presentation.
I get that he's good, but it's unfair to put that much pressure on his shoulders. No wonder he was so panicked. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Look, in the business world, it's hard. Like, in any world where you have to talk to someone, it's hard. You should not rely on someone just being the front man. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to do bare minimum. Putting that much pressure and stress on one person, you better be paying them more if you're doing that shit.
I mean, they do get a salary after this too. Like, Mina's fucking sick and she makes sure that they get a salary and get paid. Like, above what you would get paid at that age kind of thing. But yeah, so he picks it because it's not about him or his feelings. It's about doing the job to help the company succeed. But before we dive into more specifics about the characters, themes, and all that stuff, I do want to emphasize that this comic is most often lighthearted and chill. The beginning is the roughest part. And also, Yi Young and Director Kang do clear the air between them and exchange apologies. So no one just gets over anything. They talk about it. They have a very professional moment where they where Director Kang says, hey, I apologize for how I treated you and that I was looking down on you, blah, blah, blah. And Yi Young says, hey, I acted out of pocket too. More professionally than that. But he professionally says, I acted out of pocket. Mm-hmm. I think we both kind of misunderstood each other and then had the agreement of like, hey, can we work as colleagues? Absolutely, I would love to do that. And then even in that moment, Director Kang becomes like immediately charmed by Yi Young because he's like, oh, wait, here's this young person. We had a weird situation on both sides. Mm-hmm. And not only did he come to me, straight face apologize, but then agrees to be professional. And then he then sees how professional he's actually being. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I was wrong. And so he fully admits that he was incorrect. Mm-hmm. So, yes, he came in too hot. You can say it was emotions of, having his latest cougar drop him or whatever. Yeah. But he does actually apologize and, get it to figure out.
Now, I appreciate that because, I think comics are better about it now. But there's a lot of times where it's someone's done the worst of the worst. And, I forgive you because you showed up for my event. I don't care if they showed up for you. I still think an apology needs to be expressed.
Absolutely.
So, I'm just thinking about comics like Beck and Nana. There are plenty of times where these people did not really apologize to each other. They just kind of did a favor for each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes there was apologies. Let's not get it wrong. Sometimes there was. But often than not, it's we're just going to do a gesture instead of an apology. And you know what's better than a gesture? An apology. An apology takes more work.
That's why I appreciate... That's why I like this one so much, honestly, is the apology didn't make everything go away, but I was like, oh, y'all are acting like adults that want to actively communicate with one another. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I can get behind this. This is going to go better than I thought.
Yeah.
So let's take a pivot. We talked about the main couple, and they're great, but I want to talk about the girls in this comic because I love all of the women in here. And most of the main side characters are women. There are a couple of men that are side characters, but they're kind of looked at as oh, ew, you. you suck. Like,
yeah, because didn't you say Yi Young's group is all women?
Yes, it's all women. Yeah. Like, Yi Young is the token in his group. He's the one boy.
The one dude.
Yeah. And look, even though they're secondary characters, they don't just get shelved to the side. They actually have a little bit of their own personal growth. So they're not the main focus, but they do have some things going on for them. They have to overcome a couple challenges in their own lives and stuff like that are secondary to Yi Young trying to, scale Batman like a tree.
Okay.
So, first things first, Mina is cool as hell and really is that smart. So, during a flashback, they show her trading stocks as a kindergartner, which really sets the tone for how capable she is. So, making a company and pitching the project was, entirely her idea. And truthfully not a big deal for her.
Her doing stocks as a kindergartner silly.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah. I mean, this is a lighthearted comedy comic as well. It's not that serious.
Alright, that's dumb though. I don't like it.
You're gonna get mad at her for being that smart.
Yeah, I'm mad that she did it in kindergarten. I don't know, I think that's silly.
I mean, well, she had plenty of time to do it because she wasn't socializing with other kids.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, she had nothing better to do.
Next time we see a kid that doesn't know how to talk to other, we're gonna be like, choose some stock.
Yeah. Well, she's in kindergarten with Yi Young. They've known each other since they were in diapers. Cute. Yeah, it's super cute. But so, I remember there was a scene where she is trying to trade stocks in kindergarten and she's not hanging out with other people.
Other kindergartners?
No, she's on a tablet.
Oh, that's right.
She's got an account.
I'm having an old lady moment. I'm not that old, but my brain was like, how do they have a tablet? And it's yeah, it's not 1990 when I was a child. Tablets and cell phones exist now.
Yeah, so she's actively trading stocks, and one of the other kids decides to call her Stinky or something. And Yi Young, who at 5 had developed a kind of crush on this kid, those stupid 5-year-old crushes.
Yeah, the baby crush.
Yeah, he wanted to be his friend really bad, but the moment that kid picks on Mina, Yi Young's you're stupid stinky poo poo, and we're not friends anymore. Don't you talk about her that way? And again, Mina.
Sorry, the little child insults coming out of your child voice.
Fuck you. But Mina doesn't give a shit, by the way. She doesn't care how other people treat her.
Yeah.
She's totally chill about it, so she's not upset. And she's gonna be fine about it, but Yi Young is that's my friend. How dare you do that? She's a genius. And because adults call her weird and think she's creepy.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's some little kid that doesn't emote super well and is just really focused on,
I know. That's just.
Yeah, but she doesn't give a shit. But Yi Young is her ride or die.
Yeah.
And he will do anything she asks.
I love that.
He goes to bat for her so much. It's so sweet. But she also helps him out all the time too. She's kind of standoffish about stuff, but she picked him because she really did think he's capable.
Yeah.
But also the other part is they are best friends.
They are ride or dies.
Yes. Yeah. They're the girlies you want to have. But so, for the whole game that they were trying to pitch, she did most of the planning for it. She just actually got the team together for fill the team up with what she needed to get done. Whatever she's not proficient in, she got them for that. So Yi Young is her wingman, as opposed to the other way around normally. She doesn't understand people very well, but she researches and analyzes them as a way to navigate social situations. She's probably a little bit autistic maybe, but it's fine. You get the point across. She can be rude and is overly straightforward, but always has her shit together. Mina is confused at times about Yi Young's dedication to her, but she appreciates it in her own way and learns different ways to show that appreciation and to apologize when she's wrong. Because that is something that she struggles with, is apologizing to people. She normally thinks well, it fucked up and it is what it is. I'm not going to apologize to you. We both know it was fucked up, whatever. But she learns to apologize to Yi Young over some things, and everyone's shocked because she's never apologized, basically. And Yi Young gets teary-eyed and is I immediately forgive you, and she's you don't hug me.
Is this the comic or a flashback?
It happens in the comic, yeah.
Okay.
It happens towards the end of the comic. Because part of the thing is, too, Mina not only knew that Director Kang was not good with bribes, but she also was hey, dog, I'm a little worried that Yi Young will see him and that he'll be 100% his type. Now, there's an 80% chance that this man is 100% his type.
She didn't give him any warning.
She thought for sure that there was no way that he would be at this meeting because it doesn't really relate to what he's doing. So she thought, oh, it should be fine. They're never going to do that. But multiple calculations of hers failed in a row.
Why did she need to apologize for that?
It wasn't for... She apologized essentially because the way that Yi Young and Director Kang's relationship goes, they have some ups and downs later on. Mm-hmm. And she thinks, oh, well, Yi Young's going to get over the situation. Oh. Just like he got over all of his other crushes when he was younger. It's not going to be that big of a deal. He'll bounce back.
Okay.
And when he doesn't bounce back, Mina's like, oh... I calculated wrong. I misunderstood the situation, how serious it was. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what she apologizes for later, but it's like a big moment for her. But yeah, so as she calls Young on all of his bullshit, she knows the whole time like you were smitten with this grown man, mm-hmm. and it is what it is.
Well, if you'd warned him, maybe he could have steeled his heart a little.
Yeah.
Like, she can't do her calculations very well.
And that's the thing, is she has to learn...
I'm judging everybody in this comic. Everybody's dumb.
But she has to learn a little bit more how to really take people's emotions into account, because she's still learning herself.
She's still struggling.
So, like, she's super smart. She could graduate tomorrow, but she's still learning how to be cool.
Was she presented a little as, like, autistic? Like, high functioning?
Yeah, I did say so. Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the other three girls that are part of like the team are Park Dong-ga, Choi Sing-ja, and Moon Haji, and they are the programmer, project planner, and designer respectively. They are the remaining members of Team Cinco. That's what they end up calling themselves, as Team Cinco, and they are all very socially awkward, but also have their individual quirks. They're very talented at what they do. Otherwise, Mina wouldn't have chosen them. But they all lack confidence in their abilities at the beginning of the comic. So Dong-ga is like this little kind of short creature of a woman. She's always in a hoodie. She's very short, spiky hair.
You said all these women kind of have their weird little quirks?
Yeah.
You know, that's actually kind of nice, because in a way, this sounds to me like Yi Young is their fixer. Mm-hmm. Like, not that he's fixing them, but that he's showing them, like, hey, I'm coming in with a positive attitude, and this is how we're going to get things done. Like, yeah. Being friendly and open to people does that whole instill confidence thing. So I think that he's technically helping fix them. Like, yes. Giving them that emotional boost.
Absolutely. You're not wrong.
Tell me I don't read books again.
I was wrong. But, so, Dong-ga, teeny tiny gremlin of a woman. She's the sort of person that has an explosive personality and tends to yell first and ask questions later. But her yelling normally proves useful at several points in the comic. Especially as her relationships deepen with the team, her anger shifts towards protecting them instead of just herself. So she gets really reactionary. She takes a lot of things as criticism, mm-hmm. but she starts pivoting that to being like, wait a second, don't you criticize my friends? Or like, I don't want to see people, but how dare you treat them this way? What the fuck is your problem? We deserve respect. You take care of them. You listen to them, kind of thing.
That's nice that these characters are getting growth too.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the woman the first cougar that dumped Kang? Do we ever hear from her again?
You know what? I think we do hear from her again at some point, but it's like, she just roasts Director Kang over the phone. That's right. Yeah, she calls him to so they can trade a couple of things mm-hmm. that they have at each other's places or whatever. And she's just like, you getting young bussy? And he's like, no. And she's like, really?
Look, I like her already. Yeah. You gotta love the woman who fucks Batman and then says, okay, we're done. Gotta go.
Yeah, she shows up for
It's very Catwoman energy and I love it.
She shows up for 10 panels and I'm in love with her, so it's fine. Sinja is the most socially anxious out of all of them. She is kind of nerdy, plain looking woman. She's a little bit tall. Always seems like a little bit hunched over. But she's super good at what she does, but she has very, very low confidence. And so a lot of this kind of manifests in intense feelings of inadequacy about her work. She feels that the work she does isn't as helpful or integral to the team. But over time, with the team's continued support, she learns to advocate for herself and in turn for others. So she's the project manager, but she doesn't feel like she knows how to project manage. But then she's doing a stellar job the whole time.
This is their first big, job, right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and they're also students. They're not graduate. I think the girls are seniors, but they're still not quite there. And
yeah. They're youngins. That's sweet.
But so she learns to actually, lead her team, start, doling out assignments and stuff like that. She gets really good at it. And then really starts kind of, taking care of them and takes care of Yi Young and stuff like that and goes to bat for him. And then Haji is the designer. She really just has rampant ADHD.
Oh.
Like, it's bad. She's, like, always on her phone, and she's always doing something, and she's always, like, being, like, can't always control the volume of her voice and stuff. She's also kind of got gremlin energy, but she's dressed super cute all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She has her hair perfectly coiffed and curled and, like, cute dress on, but she's also kind of got gremlin energy. But her disorganization does impact how she feels about herself negatively. So when she starts out, she feels like she doesn't have her shit together, you know?
Yeah.
And that everyone else is more focused and more organized. But she figures out over time how to harness her spaciness into creative productivity, and then uses her energy to influence a team positively. So she finally focuses in and is like, oh, wait a second. Me being sporadic and saying, like, hey, let's do this, or hey, we should go get dinner, or hey, we should go get, sticky buns in the middle of the day. That ends up being like a morale booster for her team.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, oh, yeah, we got to keep it fresh. We got to keep moving. We can't, like, slog through something and then, like, just come to a stop.
No, that's really nice. That's, like, I'm always impressed to hear about boy love and queer media in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've really just stepped up their game. Because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, when I say in the 90s and early 2000s we were starving for good content and good stories,
yeah,
we were starving. We were hungry. It was just...
As ravenous.
It was just smut. Like, and there's nothing wrong with just smut. I like a little just smut. But if you wanted a plot that wasn't, like, 10 types of tragic, good luck finding it.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
10 types of tragic or written really weird or just
or
kind
then
of missing
or
something.
they teased you. They're like, they're gay, and then in the very last chapter they're like, psych, it was a murder. I was gonna murder your sister to see if I loved you, but I don't.
Yeah, weird stuff.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do, unfortunately.
God.
I've been in these trenches a long time.
Yeah.
But, okay, my fave woman, Secretary Cha. So, Director King, his original secretary, is gone on maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
Secretary Cha is her replacement. One of the first things that Secretary Cha says, like, she meets up with the like, leaving secretary
Mm-hmm.
to, like, go over a couple of things before, like, she fucks off. And she even thinks, damn, she's married? Shit. I would have totally taken a run at that. This woman's, like, 8 months pregnant. And this disaster lesbian, Secretary Cha, is like, girl, I would have hit it. Too bad you're married and pregnant.
Well, pregnancy is a kink for some people.
Her Secretary Cha, she's just going for it. I don't know what's going on with her. But she spends the rest of the comic, like, working under Director King all the way until the end. She is nosy, meddling, petty, unreasonably good at her job, and even better at Pump It Up. So she plays that, like, Korean DDR game.
Okay.
Yeah, she's really good at it for some reason.
That's in it?
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah,
okay.
she ends up, they have a work dinner with Team Cinco and, like, the rest of the team that they're working with, the marketing team. And afterwards, she takes the girls from Cinco and they all go play Pump It Up at the arcade.
You're painting quite a weird picture of this boy love.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, like, let's say this was a hole rating. I'm giving this 1 out of 10 hole. Where's all the hole?
We'll get there.
It's gonna get 12 out of 10 for characterization, because background characters being interesting is great.
The characterization
but I'm
is
sitting here
great.
going like, where's the hole at?
There's plenty of hole. Miss Disaster Lesbian.
That's Miss Cha.
Yeah, Secretary Cha. There's a scene later on where she nearly wrecks her motorcycle because she's
a lesbian with a motorcycle. Oh my god.
Yes, but so she almost wrecks her motorcycle because she's actively fighting with her current girlfriend.
Did she have a ponytail?
No, she just has short hair.
Okay, because if she had a ponytail on a motorcycle, I know what type she is.
No, but she's actively fighting with her girlfriend at one point on this motorcycle and nearly gets into a wreck about it. She makes bad choices.
Oh boy.
I adore her, but she makes so many bad choices with her own love life.
Do you think she's like one of those like move-in ready lesbians?
I think she might be a U-Haul lesbian almost. I think she's very close to... She's making bad choices, bless her heart. But she's also a great friend to the ladies of Team Cinco and, like, helps them, like, kind of... She kind of becomes their mentor. Do certain parts and kind of help. Like, she's from the woman's perspective, she's trying to help them, you know what I
don't think anything is wrong with her. It's just like, I can already tell, just based off motorcycle argument, I would fuck a pregnant woman. She's a disaster lesbian.
Yeah, or disaster lesbian.
Total disaster lesbian, and we love her for it.
Yeah, but she's also a fucking hero when it comes to Yi Young and Director King's relationship. They definitely owe her a billion won.
Oh, man.
And, like, she's like the lesbian oracle to their gay little problems. Because they do end up having gay little
And
problems.
she helps with a lot of it.
Yeah, she does.
God, bless her heart.
Yeah.
This happens all the time.
Yeah, and
Lesbians got to fix the weepy gays.
She's perfectly that role or whatever. Let's get back to the actual boil up for a second.
Right, the hole.
Yeah. We had to take a lady break.
Yeah, hey, I don't mind a lady break.
But yeah, so let's turn back to the boil of. Obviously, the theme for the relationship dynamic is age gap. In all giant type, all caps, it's age gap.
But doesn't is the older one perpetually kind of immature? Because he's the one who seems immature to me.
So, it's interesting. Well, we're going to discuss some of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, again, not fully in a mean way, but like,
yeah.
Yi Young is trying, but he doesn't have the years to back up, knowing what to do. But this other guy, like, his slip-ups are just like, you should know a little better.
Yes. So this is the whole crux of their relationship, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they're 16 years apart. And then, in addition to that, Yi Young's obviously a college student, and the other one's a director at a company. Oh. So, like, the age gap's even wider when you think about it that way. So, but more often than not, the gap between them is emphasized by social differences or personality differences. So, like, their ages are addressed and emphasized, but, like, it's much broader than that a lot of the time.
Because Kang's rich, right?
He's got a whole other company that he runs part-time, and then he's doing this and jetting around Korea and stuff.
And Yi Young's not. He's a college student.
Yi Young has gotten more money since the start of the comic than he has probably in his entire life. Mm-hmm. That actually belongs to him. Because he's got, like, a nice part.
Yeah, but so there's just, like, there's more than the age gap. Like, they're just trying to show there's a lot.
Yes, and that the age gap is honestly, like, the least of your concerns, because other stuff is what really kind of changed the dynamic of their relationship. Mm-hmm. There's also, like, a bit of a mentorship angle here, if you like that sort of thing, because Director Kang definitely takes Yi Young under his wing and gives him advice on how to be a good CEO, and regularly goes to bat for him against those who would take advantage of someone who's green to corporate bullshit.
Are there any, like, creepy old folks who try to get with Yi Young?
Nobody tries to get with him. They really just try to manipulate him other ways, like, hey, why don't you be my little coffee slave? Like, go get this stuff for me. Go be my gopher. And Director Kang also hates that shit. So, like, again, he starts out and you're like, dude, you're being kind of a jerk. And then you see how he is at work, and he's very firm to his principles. And it's like, don't treat people that way. Do not make them drink too much. Do not, undercut your other employees. Do not throw people under the bus. Do not pass off your work to somebody else. You need to do your shit.
That's good. Like, again, like, I was judging them, but, like, I don't hate them. This is not, like, the abomination that was saying woo,
Yeah. But he tries to really be there for Yi Young and tries to help him navigate everything that's going on in office culture and, like, teaching him when to, like, put his foot down. There's even a couple of scenes where he's legitimately having to tell him, like, you are CEO. Like, because Yi Young's like, well, everybody else in my group has a title, like designer and team lead and whatever, but what am I? I just did the presentation. And Director King has to tell him, you're the CEO. You're the person who's managing everything else. You're in charge of everybody. You are making sure that things get done on time. You're the face of the company. You're the CEO. And so that's nice. So that's how Yi Young actually even gets that title, is he has to be convinced, like, what you're doing is important. Coming from me as a seasoned veteran in the industry, this is what you are. You need to be proud of that, and you need to say shit from your chest.
That's nice. I like
that. And so that's, as somebody who's worked a lot, I've wanted somebody to hold my hand like this and be like, you have your shit together. So for me, it's very much like a fantasy or whatever.
It's very nice. Like, the only thing that kind of dampens it for me is the fucking.
Yeah.
But, like, I get it. This is a fantasy. I'm just picky.
Also, the other, like, there's a lot of kind of weird parallels and opposites that they have as well. Because, like, Yi Young has not had great sex in his life. So his awkward as hell first time with Director Kang was actually incredibly pleasant and memorable for him, despite how cold the whole experience was.
Has he had worse times before?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So and not in
like, that wasn't he was treated nice during sex, but, like, that's sad to think about, because, like, that was like a
well, so he's having the 20-year-old experience for a lot of people.
Yeah, where, like, sex can be
a lot of people
bad.
have some extremely milk with toast to shitty sex. You're normally not having anything mind-blowing at a certain age. Like, if you're lucky, you are. Yeah. But a lot of times you're not. And so...
Now, any young people listening, This is going to sound weird, but we always build up sex to be fantastical and magical, probably because of Disney and shows and media we absorb. It's going to be, it's not going to necessarily be bad, but when you get older and you look back at your first time sex, you're going to be like, oh, there were some mistakes. And, like, that's okay. Like, that happens. But it's also important to acknowledge that it's kind of sad when it sucks, too.
And so that's kind of what it is. Like, this is... The whole thing with Director Kang was the first time that he was sleeping with somebody and that or sleeping with a man specifically, and that he actually, like, enjoyed it. And so he, like, fixates on this because he can't get it out of his brain.
Had he had sex with a man before and he didn't enjoy it?
He had gone, like, I think it alludes, he'd gone, like, partially all the way, like, somebody had stuck it in and then they didn't, like, finish kind of thing. Or whatever. And so...
Like, so he didn't get to come?
Yeah. So, like, so he's had, like, some wonky sexual experiences. And so this is his first time going, like, fully all the way from start to finish. And so he's obsessed, like, kind of obsessed with it and keeps thinking about it and, like, masturbates to it because he's like, dang.
Because he got to come and it was a good time.
Yeah, and he's also...
Even if the dude was a jerk.
He's also like, yeah, he was kind of a jerk, but daddy hold me down again kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's Batman. If Batman was kind of a jerk to you, but he fucked you so good you both came, okay.
It also gets worse because once he starts working with him professionally, then he's like, oh my god, he's so admirable, and he gets this shit done, and he's so good at it.
And he's a good employer.
And so it keeps, like, reinforcing his horny consistently.
That's so funny.
But yeah, like, he definitely has, like, bad sex before this. So, like, it's partially because he's, like... Young, but also he's, like, hot, and so dudes keep coming for him. And be like, oh, I'm so interested, and we should, like, hook up, and blah, blah, blah. And he's, like, been on a gay dating app, but they always come off as super hot and super confident, and they get into it, and they're like, why didn't you come? And, like, you're difficult, and, like, well, it should be easier than this. Like, I've had sex with plenty of people, so, bruh, it's on you. And it's like, dude, pull up.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen and theys, this is a thing that does happen to you when you're young, and it's so unfortunate, is where a partner will try to blame you for the bad sex or for you not coming. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't come in the first 5 minutes, or if it takes you even longer, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. There's nothing wrong with you if, like, they can't get you there. And in some cases, there's nothing wrong with them. Like, I'd say in most cases, there's nothing wrong with them. But if they treat you bad, fuck them. But if, like, it doesn't happen, you guys can take a break. You can talk about it, see what you need to do to get there. It's all a learning experience. Like,
don't fake orgasms. Nobody deserves your fake orgasms.
And you don't deserve that.
Yeah.
You need that. Like, if you're not having an orgasm, tell them.
Yeah, just keep it 100 and just don't fake orgasms.
But a big part of sex is communication, and it sucks because no one wants to be like, man, you've been...
Put slot A into slot B. or taking off to the sidelines and being like, listen, sport, you gotta get your head in the game out there.
Right? Like, or... Hey, buddy, it's not all about the nipples.
But yeah, like, the biggest difference between the two of these guys is that the cash money situation and their lifestyle, and the lifestyle that it provides, is very different. So Yi Young's got a job with salary thanks to Mina, like I said before, but he's living in a studio apartment and eating tteokbokki as a night out sort of situation. Director Kang has a company car and a clothes steamer in his closet, and a king-size bed, and a multi-room penthouse, and gadgets that look like they're straight out of one of those Chinese high-tech home TikToks. He's living the dream. Yeah,
like the people who have that machine that washes their windows for them.
That's his fucking house, dude.
That looks cool.
That's where he lives. And, like, even if they were the same age, this particular gap would still exist and still weigh heavily on their relationship. So, like, the sexual experience can happen at any age. You don't have to be an older person and a younger person. The money gap would happen regardless, no matter what their age was. And even in the comic itself, like, Yi Young helps Director King reconnect with some of his cheap favorites that he remembers having from when he was a kid. He's been so lost in this whole, like, upper echelon, rich person, older society that he hasn't had spicy rice cakes in a hot minute. And he hasn't had certain types of stew and stuff like that.
That's the tteokbokki?
Yeah. But so he gets to re-experience all these different things that he hasn't done in a while because he's been so busy kind of being big adult man. And he's forgotten kind of like, oh, I just enjoy being kind of normal sometimes. And so they do get that balance out there. So, like, Yi Young gets to go places he's never been to before, but Director Kang gets to, like, revisit and be like, wait a second, I can just put on a pair of sweatpants and go get some, like...
Now, do they start dating in the comic, or is it, like, it's still teacher and kohai or whatever?
The end game is dating.
But, like, it's more or less like they're hanging out and learning, but also having fun.
They do hang out a lot in the middle of the comic, and I will tell you, they have that first time sex very quickly after Yi Young getting accepted by the company and stuff. They do have sex again.
Why?
The reasoning is stupid. Because it's essentially, Yi Young's been thinking about it, but he's like, no, dude, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to expect that again. We're professional, we have boundaries. And Director King is also like, I'm not stupid. We're professional, we have boundaries. I'm not going to do that.
Who does the stupid thing then?
Director King is the one that's at fault. Because he definitely, like, they have this nice evening together where that doesn't have to mean anything special. Like, they're just both a little, like, goofy at the time. Specifically, like, they've gone to a drinking party. When they leave the drinking party, he has to take Yi Young home because Yi Young's blitzed. And then Yi Young is having a dream about, what if I slobber down that hog? And so he reaches out while in the car and grabs Director King's crotch. And he's half passed out. So he doesn't realize he did it. And then he immediately starts to sober up. Because he's like, oh no, I'm actually grabbing it. Director King just keeps driving the car and is like, okay.
Is he having like a horny thought about it? Like, oh.
No, he's just like, well, are you awake? And Yi Young plays it off like, oh, haha, I'm drunk and I wasn't awake. Because that's truthfully what happened. But then Director King's like, well, I mean, if you want to touch it, you can.
King. Mr. Dong Hong.
But
come on, be the adult.
But he's like, yeah, but I'm not going to, because you're shit-faced, dude. Like, we're not doing this if you're shit-faced. And Yi Young's like, you gave me the opening. If I say yes, can we do it? And he's like, dude, you are blasted out of your mind. You were passed out a second ago.
You just gave him permission. He's gonna jump at it, you dumb.
But he did say, like, you are drunk, so we cannot. Like, if we're sober later and you think about it, sure.
He's still a dumb adult.
Because a 22-year-old's gonna be like, I'm gonna make it fucking happen.
Yes.
Let's go.
You dumbass
Yeah,
adult.
but to be fair, he's like, prove to me that you are not so shit-faced that you can't consent. And he actually has Yi Young do a field sobriety test.
That's actually pretty funny. I actually like that energy.
He stops the car and has it like just nose and shit.
Look, I was about to give it a negative whole point. because I'm like, don't have drunk sex. Come on. I don't approve of it. I want elevated porn a little bit. But, like, honestly, the adding a sobriety test, that's funny. You're gonna get some whole points from me.
He does a field sobriety test, and then when King's like, okay, you actually passed, they get back in the car, and then, like, he takes him back to his penthouse and says, go take a nice warm shower and relax a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna finish up some extra work that suddenly popped up. So, like, just go wait for me and chill, and here's a nice robe, and, like, gives him the whole...
Does he fall asleep waiting for him?
No, Yi Young is like, I know what I'm getting.
Okay.
And is into it. But then, like, Director King does put down the boundary of, like, hey, this is gonna be, like, a one-time thing, but let me treat you...
You mean a two-time thing?
Well, but, no, wait, he says, let's be a one-time thing as a making up for how bad the first time was.
Okay,
we're gonna
he acknowledges it.
He's like, let me show you how you deserve to be treated.
I'm about to say a slur. Can you feel it?
But yeah, so then they have sex that second time, and then it's like crazy.
Y'all dumb.
It goes crazy.
They have great, amazing sex, but you're dumb. We're just gonna do it to make up for the last time. Boys.
Oh, yeah. Director King is an idiot in this way.
Yeah.
But it's the same way that I was saying, like, Namina is an idiot when it comes to...
Yeah.
Like, there's parallels for everybody.
No, like, I get it. Just, They still get whole points, though, because I do appreciate that no one was drunk. And you're going to get, like, an extra whole point for me just for the setup of, we won't do this again, and you know they're going
2 days later, they do it again.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just, like, I do like that trope. That's a silly trope, but I do like it.
Yeah. But a huge part of how Director King functions in this comic, otherwise, is leading all of his interactions with integrity. So if he refuses to do X thing because of Y, then he doesn't turn around and do X thing for no reason. Mm-hmm. If he's wrong or needs to apologize, it doesn't matter who the person is or how they are high they are in the totem pole of life, they're getting a goddamn apology. He shows integrity, and he regularly dates people with integrity, and Yi Young isn't any different. He's a little sloppy and goofy, but he stays true to his word, and he treats people with respect consistently. He promised to lead his team, and he doesn't waver in doing so, because it's not just about him succeeding. This is like the true, like, unifying force in their relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's often how real relationships work. Like, if your core values align, you can overcome most of their discrepancies in your relationship.
Yeah.
And then they're also really horny for each other, so that helps glue them together.
I mean, that's a good way to start off. Like,
yeah.
You might as well.
Yeah. Integrity is a good place to be.
Yeah.
So we're clear. Yi Young is gay, 100% gay, idle hot, nice to everybody, popular with girls. He only has eyes for big, strong types. But for director Kang, he claims, like, super late in the story, like, almost to the end, that he is bisexual. But he also says he's not 100% sure if it's that or if he's just that hung up on Yi Young's boy pussy.
Look, I as a bisexual have said that I think that secretly everyone is bisexual, sure. And that it all just depends on the spectrum levels. Like, even, like, again, like I've said, like, I feel like Ace is the start, and then all the way at the very other end is bisexual. Mm-hmm. And you can count pansexual, bisexual in the same sort of mm-hmm. area with that. And then everyone is falling in between the spectrum of ace and bisexual.
Yeah.
And, like, that's how I feel about it. So he's just, like, he just had his little light flicked on.
In this case, I'm going to side with him, declaring that he's bisexual, and that he's just kind of a little dumb about it. Because I do need to reiterate that he's only been dating girl bosses mm-hmm. up until this point.
I'm not trying to disagree with
him. Yeah. But it'd be hard to, like, argue with the women that he's dating. Like, most people would be like, if I can get attracted to her, I will be attracted to her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then comparatively, he lived in America for a good chunk of his young adulthood. So daddies may not have been as readily available for him, like in the area that he was in mm-hmm. and that sort of thing. So he spent his teens and young adulthood never being particularly twinky either. So you don't, like, not saying that only twinks get picked up by, like, older businessmen, but it's more common.
Did he want to be picked up by older
business? He didn't. Okay. He's just, like, he didn't really have the opportunity.
You're just saying his tastes, he couldn't have had.
He didn't really have the opportunity, I think, based on, like, what he looked like, how he looked, how he was acting, to do that. But he also may not have noticed that anybody was looking. We'll never really actually have that confirmed. But it's my professional hunch that he really just never thought of
his sexuality.
Yeah, he never really thought that much about it and needed a slight nudge to throw all of his compulsive heteronormativity away.
Yeah.
His journey kind of lines up more with late-in-life lesbians or bisexuals who were straight because they were, like, supposed to be.
Yeah.
So he never really had the time, I feel like, to think about it more.
Yeah.
And then, like, kind of piggybacking off of that, Director Kang's journey is also just not familiar to me as far as straight tops with their gay bottoms. Because I read so much early boy love mm-hmm. where it would consistently be the straight tops are there and they're like, I'm only into this one dude, but I'm not actually gay. And they treat their bottoms like
shit.
Oh, they honestly treat their bottoms pretty bad.
Yeah.
And so Director Kang isn't doing that. And he does say some, like, kind of derogatory, borderline homophobic comments at the beginning of the comic, but he straight up cops, so it's like, I said that to be a jerk. That is not actually how I feel about people. Again, I thought you were trying to bribe me, kind of thing.
So, like, I don't think it excuses it, but I do get it's a refreshing, nice thing that he doesn't actually think it.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of, like, those straight tops in early 90s
yeah.
boy loves where it's like, they're like, yeah, you look kind of like a lady in a skirt, so yes. I'm okay with that.
And honestly, he's used to living in America,
yeah.
where at the time of the comic, like, gay marriage is legal during that time period. So he really doesn't carry those prejudices, mm-hmm. but he knows how to be a jerk. And it's still inappropriate, but you get that that's what it is.
It's also nice to show, like, even if he hadn't thought about it a lot, I like that, like, he's thought about it a little. Like, that exactly. There was a little bit of that. That's cool. Like, not everyone has to dwell on it. Like, sometimes you just know what you are, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But, like,
when it hits him like a ton of bricks, and then he's like, I'm all in.
And I like that. I appreciate that. That's nice.
It's very much, like, kind of women's gaze onto this experience in a weird way.
Yeah.
But also, the reason why I think he's bisexual, no straight man sucks dick like that. Not a single one.
He sucks a dick?
Oh, he sucks cock.
Okay, that's also rare. We never saw Top suck dick.
Exactly. And then, no straight man swaps jizz like that either.
Do they like kiss and jizz
He's
swap?
a jizz swapper.
I'm adding more holes to this.
This dude is so horny for Yi Young. It's insane. When he says, I'm going to treat you like a king, he's not fucking joking. He's sucking and fucking and licking and devouring.
Okay. We're already at like 8 out of 10 holes then. I'm impressed.
Yeah, okay. So
I might read this comic when we're done.
Listen. I've been saying baby girl, and I've been saying, I think I've done a decent job of kind of explaining how he got baby girl status, dating these older women, kind of weirdly low self-esteem at times. Mm-hmm. One of the big, conflicts is that he doesn't think he's good enough for Yi Young at one point.
Is that whole, insane. He doesn't have confidence thing coming through?
Yeah. Okay. And, to be fair, his fucking secretary is you cannot be that guy.
Is his confidence about relationships, then? Like, his confidence
It's
issues?
more about relationships, and he, honestly, his regret sticks with him about how he treated Yi Young earlier for so long that he honestly is oh, I shouldn't be the person.
No, that's nice. I love that he's reflected on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I do appreciate it when someone reflects on the actions and you see it dwell in the comic a little bit. I know it can be boring, but shit, I just I don't know. I like that.
But so I do want to take a minute to mention some things, quote some things, that prove to me at least that Director Kang is a former baby girl and a currently dangerous grown man. He says intimate things with his whole chest. So that was the last time you touched my penis. Don't say that to somebody straightforward.
Wait, that's not intimate. That's gross. That's a man thing to say. You touched my penis on Wednesday and now it's Friday.
No, it's specifically in the context of the last time I felt so good was when you touched me.
Oh, be way more specific with that.
Then also it's how can someone's body feel so good that I come as soon as I put it in? No straight man admits that.
Boy, you ain't straight.
You know what I mean?
Honey.
But
this is a real bi experience.
Truthfully, because you're so sloppy.
Holy shit. The first time when you realize you're bi and then you get with someone either of the same gender or not, but there's something different about acknowledging I'm into both.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if you're a woman with a man or a woman with a woman. When you acknowledge you're bi, you're suddenly very turned up. You're I love everything. My third eye is open.
Your pussy is wider.
Yes.
Wider open.
Everything is wetter and better.
Yeah. So, Secretary Cha figures out what's going on with them the whole time. Obviously, she helps them get together and stuff. He says to her at one point, he's my man after all. To her, bold-faced, in their fucking office. No shame.
I hope she made the face I just made, which is boy.
She did. She's don't talk to me about this ever again. I regret talking to you.
Oh boy, he's a simp. He's a simp.
He wanted Yi Young to mark him in some sort of safe for work way because he doesn't want Yi Young to get fired from his job. So he's you can't leave a hickey on me, but what's something else you can do?
Boy. What? Was he being please tattoo me?
No. It's worse than that. He has Yi Young write his name on the bottom of his shoe.
He has a Toy Story moment.
Literally.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. And he's proud of it. Director King's proud of it.
You're embarrassing,
what
sir.
You're
almost 40 years old and you want a Toy Story moment. God.
He's a baby girl. You know he used to be baby girl.
No, he's baby girl.
Right?
I already felt it, honestly, with the disastrous sex, that's baby girl energy. Baby girls have bad sex.
Yeah.
It's great sex, but it's also God, why is it in the outhouse outside type of thing?
Yeah. But it's the fucking mark my shoe. It's the goddamn cocksucking that he's always doing at any point in time. He's totally ready for it.
I love that he's a top that loves to suck dicks. Because I'm serious. Older mangas and manhwas, they didn't do that. And I love it. I love that that's a thing now.
Yeah, and then he's got weird...
Reciprocate.
So it's that, and then he's got weirdly low self-esteem. He thinks other people are better than he is. Even though he's amazing at pretty much everything. He's he thinks he's pathetic. And then, like,
it's too bad he's not a switch, because Young should fuck his big ass.
I know. And then he absolutely cock-blocks himself from happiness because he's undeserving and overthinking everything.
Oh, he feels so bad about his earlier mistakes that, like, it causes a problem in the comic.
Yeah.
I like that, too.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, in terms of mistakes, theirs is fairly small. Because, again, we've read some comics that were, like... I read a comic where a dude was like, I straight up sold my lover and now I regret it. And I'm like, what do you mean you sold your lover and you regret it? And no apology, but they were still the in couple.
Yeah.
Like, he pimped out his man.
Yeah.
And that dude forgave him.
And this motherfucker's over here like, I was mean to him. Oh.
I was mean to him when I thought he was being a bad person to me. And it's just like, dude, it's not a good scene. But the fact that you're that upset, thank you. Because, man, there's some audacious main characters out there.
But, like, so he's a little bitch, non-derogatory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these attributes are fine when you're an actual baby girl, but extremely dangerous as a full-grown man. Because who can withstand this type of talk? Especially, like, what is a young Twink specifically gonna do against this kind of shit? Saying nasty shit with your whole chest with a genuine kind smile would ruin most people, but especially poor Young. You should honestly feel a little bit bad for him because he's never gonna leave this man.
He'll never recover.
Yeah, like, he's done for.
Oh, I do feel bad for him.
Yeah.
This is how it happens to you. This is how it happens.
Yeah, that's it. He's locked down. That's it. Young will never move past this. But yeah, so... Okay, so part of the reason why I'm even not concerned about the age gap outside of, like, it's not really about the age gap so much, is that a lot of their relationship is about bridging their own gaps and growing kind of together, either emotionally or personally. But the personal growth is weighed just as heavily as the professional growth. So as you see Young kind of growing as, like, a young businessman, you see Director King growing as an individual, like, emotionally.
Well, that's nice, because, like, you know, they're always saying, like, you befriend different people so you can, like, learn new things, and, like, that's good for you. Like, that's definitely good for you. And I find it interesting, because you've talked a lot about, like, the business side of this comic. It's also nice to hear that the emotional growth is happening.
Yeah.
So this little baby girl get, like, more mature emotionally.
Yes, because they're both trying new things. Young's are the most obvious because he's like, I've never been to a big, expensive restaurant before. I've never ridden in a car this nice. I've never, had an office space before. I've never, hosted office parties, that sort of stuff. That's all very obvious. But he is also, like, Director King's also experiencing a lot of new things because most of his relationships, or really all of his relationships, have been the kind that they end when they're supposed to, or when it stops being convenient for both parties. Because he's dating grown women. And so grown women have a different feeling about relationships, especially if you're single in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. You have a different feeling about relationships compared to, like, a 20-year-old woman who maybe is, like, looking for long-term or wants to date really seriously. So a lot of the little datey things that they do together, he's never done before.
Like Kang?
Yeah, like, Director King's completely skipped, like, normal dating stuff, like sharing an ice cream with somebody.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so Did
he just jump straight into, like, sex then?
He jumped straight into dating a grown woman at, like, the age of 18 or 19.
Is there any explanation as to why? You don't have to tell me, but I'm curious.
No, he's just like that.
Oh, okay, he's just like that.
And I think his first person that he dated, she was, like, a cool artist or something. I think he's just into the capabilities of older women. And I get that too. Because seeing somebody who's successful and has their shit together, some people are just attracted to, like, success, basically.
If someone's, and, like, money doesn't matter, but if someone's talented and is driven, that's hot. Like, that's attractive.
And that's what it is. And so and then he's gotten stuck on that because their relationships were, like, cool and interesting.
Listening to this, he really is a bisexual. Like, yes, it comes out late and slow, but, like, dog, you're a bisexual.
Yeah. So very much, it's very much, like, Young is trying new things as far as, like, business stuff because he's inexperienced in business, but he's really good at being a youth. And then Director King basically skipped being a youth and is really good at business. Yeah. So that's why there are situations where it's like, well, you shouldn't do that. That seems a little weird. This is new to him. He's never dealt with something like this.
That is so, I don't know. I really like that. That's very cool.
And then also too, like, Yi Young, he's a closeted gay man. Like, he's gay, and Mina knows, but everyone else, like, in his group doesn't know. Like, so he actually comes out to them.
So the other girls don't know?
The other girls didn't know. He was afraid of it. But, like, Director Kang, again, like, finished growing up in America. So once he's bisexual, he's like, I don't care who knows.
He doesn't care who knows.
Like, yeah, he's not out either, but he hasn't felt a reason to say it is the only reason why he hasn't.
Not everywhere in America, but being out in America is definitely different than being out in Asia.
He lived in California, specifically.
Oh, yeah. That's, I mean, that's so much easier to be out. That's very interesting.
Yeah, so the weight of telling people doesn't weigh on him, and that's also why he's so, like,
He's also rich.
Yeah, and he's rich, too. Yeah, so he's got a lot of that upward mobility that makes him less nervous about it, so he ends up supporting Yi Young as far as, like...
Is there any conflict about Yi Young being maybe uncomfortable with being gay? Like,
no, not really. It's, I will say if there is any, it would come later, but at this point, it's not really a big issue, because his company supports him. They don't care... Again, Secretary Cha is a lesbian, and she still, like, hangs out with him and stuff. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't care, and then Kang Dae-hung doesn't care. And truthfully, I would argue that even the owner of the company that they're contracting with, she probably doesn't care either, because it's the company's, like, run by a couple women, and it's, like, mother and daughter, and I don't think they would care either. It's not that deep. Like, it has nothing to do with being at work.
This is nice. It's kind of like a modern comic, then. It's definitely showing you, like, how views are changing.
It's one of the themes of the comic is adding a modern touch, because all their business stuff is about adding a youthful touch
to everything.
To this ancient fucking business.
Yes, because that's why they got the group in the first place. Okay, that's really cool.
Full circle.
I love full circles.
Full circle. As far as the title of the comic, On or Off, it pretty much refers to their relationship. Like, it's almost like you're constantly flicking a switch between, like, are they in personal feelings mode, or are they doing professional responsibilities? But it's also the kind of limbo that they find themselves in of not really knowing if they have a relationship or not. Like, are we just coworkers? Are we fucking? Are we in a relationship? Am I, going off to this other opportunity? Are you going back to America? Like, where are we? Switch, switch.
Yeah.
You turn me on like a light switch, but not toxic.
Snap.
Yeah.
I like that song.
But yeah, the on or off is really a metaphor for the whole story, and kind of refers to all the little tiny conflicts that spring up and little setbacks that they have and stuff. So
yeah. How much of You Turn Me On Like a Light Switch can we sing before we get copyright strike?
I'm not gonna sing.
Like, I could sing it terribly.
Oh, we're gonna leave Charlie Puth alone today.
God, no one has perfect pitch like him.
I'm gonna strangle him. That's pretty much it. Overall, this is a fairly light and chill comic. The stakes are high for the individuals, but low for the reader. There are plenty of funny moments, especially from, like, Yi Young, because he has these intense daydreams and fantasies, to the actions of Team Cinco, like when a stranger appears and how they all kind of scurry, like roaches when you turn the light on, or how often Secretary Cha roasts her boss, which she loves to do in that professional, like, sneaky job way. And there's just a lot of silly bits from people, a lot of silly faces and stuff. But yeah, the main conflict in this is misunderstanding, but it's with the best intentions possible. No lying, no hiding information, just two people who actively want the best for each other and have a lot of social and demographical issues to surmount. The fucking is a lot. It happens pretty frequently considering how weird the kickoff is, and it's pleasant and multi-chapter, but you want it by the time you get it. You don't mind spending 4 chapters of them fucking. You're stoked for it.
You're like, I'm ready for you two to tear each other up.
Yeah, I want you to ruin his whole. I want you to make it into a different shape.
I have not seen this comic. I have not laid eyes on Batman or his Twink, but I'm sitting here going 8 out of 10 whole. I'm excited for them. Like, and you've just told me shit.
Yeah, but if you want to read something chill, silly, and gratuitous, or if you want to see a grown man play 4D chess with a fucking pigeon and lose, and you have time to read 90 semi-short chapters, this is the manga for you. On or Off, you can find it digitally on TappyTune as an all-ages version or as an 18-plus version, or in print and uncensored in your local bookstore, published by Tokyo Pop. I also do want to let you guys know that there is a sequel. You do not have to read the sequel if you don't want to. You can also read this standalone. It does have its own ending.
Mm-hmm.
And A1 honestly took a bit of time to actually get the sequel ready to go. So I was satisfied with the ending I got. I would have loved to have more after On or Off ended. But the new one is available. It is also on Tappy Tune. It is called Work-Love Balance. Or you can obviously like look her up by her name and find out where her other comic is.
Would you say you could read Work-Love Balance first, or do you really need
You really need to read On or Off first. But
okay.
I will say if you like On or Off, Work-Love Balance so far has been quite in that same kind of mode. They're continuing their growth and like trying to navigate what they're doing and stuff like that. So it's also pretty good so far.
I like that.
Yeah. But On or Off contains misunderstandings, vaguely dubious consent, alcohol consumption, shitty bosses, shittier old men, an age gap, and dick too big.
Dick too big! Kang Dong Hung!
Just make sure to give A1 some love on Twitter at A1Keep. That is A, the number 1, Keep. She also has that same handle on Bluesky. Please be nice to her. She's doing great work. Otherwise, that is it for today, and we will catch you guys next week. That's all for today, so tighten up.
Tighten up!